我们准备要来进行对第4 round，the fourth round，second half，the beginning of second half。好，那我们在这一轮呢，准备要提供的是开始有一些比较重口味的出现了 ，brewed IPA，a little bit heavier than before。好，我们第4个问题来了
There you go.
The fourth round，brewed IPA。
Oh, that smells good.
Floral, citrus, pine， 有一点花香、
果香、
风筝味 ，grapefruit， 葡萄柚、香蕉 ，dry and clean。
Tastes like a golf course.
Golf course.
像在高尔夫球场上，它聞到很多草的味道。
Yeah, that's actually for an IPA. That's not super heavy for 6.5%.
Okay.
That's pretty good for an IPA.
OK。
If you like,
That's good.
If you like IPAs.
Ryan 教练说，酒精浓度虽然6.5%，但是喝起来并没有那么重，然后蛮顺口的。Dry and clean.
Yeah, it is clean.
Clean.
All these beers are really smooth.
OK.
Yeah.
好，这边的啤酒，这个 Mark 教练说都喝起来非常的清爽，非常的甘甜，很顺，不会觉得很涩口这样。那我们的第4个問題要來了 ，the fourth question. Do you think that it's really important that the players play here? I mean import players, 外籍球員啦 import players.
Import player.
They have NBA experience. Is that important?
I've been waiting for this.
It's
Important or not?
It's matter or not.
It's matter or not?
Okay, here's what I think.
Okay.
I think here and maybe it's not just this country, but international, general, like to me, a lot of general managers see NBA and their eyes
Like myth.
Yes.
light up. Where I don't think people realize is like there's a lot of really good players that aren't as high maintenance. For example, Kenny is a great example.
Yeah.
He doesn't come from a powerhouse Division I school, and he's very humble in the way he approaches work, his teammates. But there's some scenarios or stories, like at one of my former teams, I'm not going to name the player, but we had a former NBA guy on our team, and he had a terrible attitude, and he expected like everything to be handed to him. So again, to answer your question, I don't think it matters if you have NBA experience or not. But obviously, it does help because that means you have really high talent.
So what kind of players that you think they can survive well here? Like attitude or like or anything?
Well, to me, it's more about like your attitude and like if you're being a good teammate or not. Because I think people overlook your character and how you treat people. Because at the end of the day, nobody wants to play with just a star import that takes 35 shots a game and is always yelling at their teammates, not getting anyone involved, and just mostly make it about them. I think you want an import that includes the team and is coachable, buys into the process, and is humble.
Is there anybody like that this year in the league?
Good question.
Tell me secret off table. Okay. So we were asking this question because the people here in Taiwan that we think it's a myth that if you're coming from NBA, you must be good. You can kill the league.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For sure. But in terms that it's not necessarily like that.
I will also say the biggest misconception with the NBA is that everyone's the same and they can put numbers up everywhere else. 5% of the NBA is guys that can do whatever they want. Probably 80 to 90% of the NBA is role players. I don't like calling players out, but there was a player I worked with when I first went to Minnesota who is a role player. He's a role player at his finest, not like a big time scorer, rebounder, whatever. And but spent most of his time in the NBA and went overseas to a powerhouse team overseas. And I knew that team was expecting, hey, this guy's gonna be able to produce. And I'm like, there's no way this guy's gonna succeed in the EuroLeague. No chance. And they started playing him by the end of the year, almost 0 minutes. Almost couldn't play at all.
Zero.
Like just wasn't playing.
Like this period.
Wasn't playing.
How come?
Well, because the NBA is mostly role players. You don't need guys who are going to score 20, 30 points on your roster.
Okay, I got you.
3 max on some super teams. Usually 1 or 2 guys who can do whatever. But how you construct a roster, you need mostly role players. 1 to 3 guys that are going to give you the bulk of your scoring.
Yeah.
And then maybe players 3 through 8 or 9 that are your role players. And then a few other guys at the end of the bench who can contribute in different ways. Energy, rebounds, score. I mean, whatever it is, however your roster.
It sounds like that NBA have many good players that can do very good supporting things.
100%.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so only like 5% of NBA, like the all-stars, they can do, they can
do everything.
They can kill everywhere.
Yeah, let's say 10%.
The rest is
5
that
10%.
the rest of the players they're just mainly to support the all-star players. Is that right?
Yeah.
And I would even say to his point that there are guys that are more skilled than guys on NBA rosters because, for example, if I'm a high volume scorer but I can't play defense, but I'm not playing over Ja Morant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got you.
Do you see what I mean? So there's a
got you.
lot of guys that can still score,
Okay.
but aren't on an NBA team because, again, you need role players, shooters, defenders, rebounders, dunkers.
Do something else.
So that probably can explain some players like Mike Singletary.
Yeah.
He can kill here.
Yeah.
But he never made NBA, right?
So I would say probably one of the biggest misconceptions out here in the NBA. I mean, the NBA doesn't come out and say this all the time, but they like to say randomly, I don't know how many players in the NBA, they say like, 340, the best 340 players in the world. It's like, that's not true. That's not true.
Not true.
But, for example, so I value players with NBA and overseas experience. And the reason I do personally is because I've been around enough NBA players and players in the States where I know that personality.
Yeah.
I know that personality. I feel that I can deal with them in practice. I feel I can manage them throughout the year, but I also want overseas experience because if you're gonna live in a different country, different language, you have to know that grind and what it's like. You're not gonna have everything handed to you. Sometimes you're gonna be, I would say probably 95% of the time, you're gonna be with a coach that's not like me, that's making us run in the mountains, do crazy shit all the time.
2-a-day practices.
Yeah, and so I feel I can manage some of those players differently. So I value NBA experience, but it's not a necessity that you need to have that. But I value it because I feel I know that player and I can manage that player well, better than other coaches can.
所以听起来，Ryan 的教练意思应该说 ，NBA 当中的300-400人，大家会觉得全球最厉害的300-400人在 NBA，其實不對，可能是這300-400人是最適合 NBA 的。It sounds like
those 300 or 400 is suitable for NBA.
They suit NBA the most. Not the best 300 or 400 players in the planet in NBA.
I
No.
don't think so.
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not. You can't say, I'm not going to say they're the best player in the NBA,
Okay.
but the best player in Europe, the top 20 best players in Europe, that they're not better than the bottom number 15 on all the NBA rosters. Like, there's no chance. But you can't have, a roster of 15 guys who are the guy. That's just not how you make a great team.
Okay.
You need role players and guys that, Kevin Looney's a perfect example. It's like, hey, you just go rebound. And how many guys really want to do that? Like, say in Europe, like, hey, I'm doing this.
Okay,
Yeah.
got you.
Like,
So it sounds like NBA full of experts, like rebound experts, like shooting experts, like defending experts.
So here's another example for overseas basketball. Tony Allen, incredible defender. Overseas, when you're bringing in foreign players, you want guys that can score, that can do this and that, like who can bring you something of value, something more than maybe a player from that country can do. You're not bringing Tony Allen to Barcelona to
get a scoring title,
and just to, like, hey, you just come defend. But it's like, well, but we need a guy who can give us 15 points, 15 points a game that can shoot 40% from three. There's just different values, different leagues. Yeah, but in the NBA, it's incredibly valuable because Tony Allen doesn't need to touch the ball.
Okay.
He doesn't need to touch the ball, but he can guard the best offensive player on the other team every single night without issue.
One of the notorious Kobe stopper.
Yeah. Guys like him, Raja Bell, Ron Artest.
Yeah.
Guys like that, they're incredible.
好，所以呢，這一題其實我覺得打破了很多大家的認知，非常的有幫助。
NBA 的經歷在台灣或者在任何海外的職籃不一定是那麼重要的，
所以大家不要太迷信 NBA 這件事情。
牌子是牌子，
是不是才是最重要的？好，我們要進行到下半段嘍。第5題，Fifth round， Toffee Amber Ale。那這個味道呢，會有太妃糖的味道，然後會有一點烤過的木頭味。 那它香甜滑順，而且呢，它会有豐富的麥芽香，當然會有一些太妃糖的一些香氣。
Cheers.
Coffee.
太妃糖，然後有麥芽香
Roasted.
I feel like I'm in the woods.
Pudding.
I actually like it, man.
You like it?
Let's start a fire and roast some marshmallows.
我們這裡沒有，他搞不用，我們這裡我就很難。
I'm not even a big beer guy, and all of these really have been really good.
Okay, impressive.
Yeah, good job.
马克跟 Ryan 再回头跟那个老板 Kevin 致敬。
Shout out the owner.
就是因為 Mark 本身不是正常喝啤酒的，但
他今天試的每一款口味目前都很開心。
那 Ryan 本身是一個啤酒 guy，Ryan beer guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
more.
I would explain it. I'm an equal opportunity drinker. So if it's wine, if it's liquor, if it's beer. It depends on the people I'm around.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Like I'm not gonna go to a football game and open up a bottle of wine.
Okay.
I'm gonna have a drink. Like we're gonna go party, we'll take some shots.
Okay.
Like, it just depends on and what I'm doing.
Okay. Ryan 要跟这種，他說他其實都很喜歡啦，那酒他很喜歡啦。
看場合跟人啦，看場合跟人啦。
就是看跟誰喝，去什麼場合啦。
對啊，你看足球就喝個啤酒嘛。
喝完哦，因為 Ryan 說他不太喜歡 Toby 味道，他還是喝完的，對，所言不虛。
試一下。
好 ，Fifth question, two part. The first one is that what kind of naturalized player you think Taiwan
Do we need?
Like Q? Q is one type, or we need some players
like how Will Artino is now as well.
Or like Jeremy Lin, naturalized player. What kind of do you think we need better?
Like forward or the guard?
We need center, or we need 3D players,
yeah, center.
Or we need like point guard, or we need shooter as the naturalized player.
There aren't many bigs in Taiwan. There aren't many bigs in Taiwan. You need someone who can hold down the paint.
But Q is very successful as the naturalized player.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you need bigs, that can help out. Obviously, getting a player at Jeremy Lin's caliber. I mean, he's an elite point guard who's been, successful at the highest level in the world. Probably one of the top 2 Asian players ever. Incredible skill set. You can get like a guy of that talent, of course, but you need size. There's just not much size with skill here in Taiwan. Yeah, Taiwan's full of a lot of guards of the same size. I don't know, I can't name any bigs that strike any fear in anybody out here of like local bigs in Taiwan. There's enough guards, and even some of the guards, like I think, was it Ray Chen is his name, who's playing out in China? He comes back here and plays, he's an elite level guard that can come and do some things. So you have guys that are playmaker. Cayenne played for the national team. You have a handful of other, I can name a bunch of players.
So we need bigs.
We need size.
Bigs. You don't have anybody that really like moves the needle. You have guys that can do some things from game to game, but not consistent enough. Like, hey, you're gonna give me I know you're gonna give me 10 to 15 points and 8 rebounds every night. You don't know that from some of the players. So getting a big here, unless you had a ton of bigs already, then of course, yeah, Jeremy Lin, getting a guy like that would be super important, but you don't have that here. So you need that size and someone who can at least hold down the paint. You need some sort of presence in the middle to help those other guards be successful.
Okay, Mark, your pick.
If he doesn't have a center, it's so hard to compete.
Need a protector, you mean?
Yeah, just because teams with good big guys, they're just gonna go throw it inside, and unfortunately, Jeremy can't help in that.
Especially if you're having to switch so much, and then it's easy for say one team. I mean, and I can't remember his name. In English, Ricardo Ratliff, but the guy from Korea, who's naturalized, played at Missouri. He's naturalized in Korea. You put him in a pick and roll, and then you're playing small ball lineup. So now Jeremy's having to guard at the post every time.
Okay.
And so that other team better not have a big who knows how to really punish those guards, because if they do, it's going to be a problem all night long.
Okay.
And Like I said, it just depends on the makeup of your team and the other teams, but you need size to at least be competent on the defensive end, and that's somewhere where Taiwan's lacking, not just because of the level of player, but you know, there's different generations where different size players, they're good or not.
OK， 所以他们觉得还是需要中锋的，
要中锋，要中锋。
好，那马上是第6个问题咯 ，the sixth round， yeah, the final
Fourth quarter.
round，Black IPA，the strongest one。那 Black IPA 呢是在我們今天嘗試的這6款精釀啤酒當中呢，可能是最強烈的一支，就是酒驗度最重的一支。
我覺得這支很特別的原因是因為 Ryan 只要求一點點，因為他非常討厭巧克力，他很討厭巧克力跟咖啡。
Roasted, smoked, dark chocolate.
You're an equal opportunity.
I've had 5 beers so far, but this is what 6. So this is what 4th quarter. This is OT.
Yeah,
OT.
Fourth quarter.
Fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I'm a game player. I had stinky tofu.
How do you like it? It's strong.
It tastes too much like coffee to me, and I don't like coffee.
OK， 像黑咖啡啦。
So
OK，
and I have to be unbiased in my reviews. This is my least favorite, but I do love all the others.
OK， 都很这个味道比較重哦。
都很重。
I have to keep my integrity.
OK。Ryan 的臉不是很好看。
Like chocolate or coffee, this is for me.
跟美國人說話方式，如果你喜歡咖啡跟喜歡巧克力味道
like even the toffee, I thought I would really dislike. It wasn't terrible. The toffee, but like I hate coffee and chocolate flavors with a passion. Like they're my least 2 favorite things in the world. So this has nothing to do, but like I can still tell it's smooth. The flavor. So like I would still highly recommend this place because everything is super smooth. Like the beers are incredible. This is just not my flavor for anything.
Not your thing.
Yeah.
So it's not like
Not for you, just not for you.
OK,
Yeah.
OK, 好，那我們的問題呢，其實是大家都想知道的哦，因為大家其實對於裁判的問題有很多的討論。So the question would be like the main differences between the refs here in United States.
好大啦。
好，对啊，2位教練知道要碰到一個比較嚴肅的問題。他說多一點幫我灌醉。
We're gonna talk about the refs.
Need to get drunk before answering the question. 就是要
That could be.
对，要先喝醉的。OK, Mark.
Okay. I think the refs here are very nice people.
OK. 人很好。OK.
I think they have good hearts.
OK, but would you like?
There's a big disconnect in terms, and I say this like half-heartedly, but I do mean this. Is like, I really think that for the purposes of the whole league, and again, I'm not just saying this to come at the refs, but what they allow and what they don't allow is going to lead to a fight or something, because kind of what happens is let's say I push Ryan and the referee doesn't say anything. And then I go, okay, well, if the referee's not going to do anything, let me push him a little harder.
Yeah.
To test you.
To test the limit.
And then, exactly, to test the limit. And then it gets to a point, oh, the refs aren't calling anything. I'm just going to shove Ryan, and then Ryan's going to be like, yo, what the heck? And he's going to retaliate and punch me. And that's the point this league is getting to. And don't get me wrong, I don't want to say like we're perfect either.
Yeah. Okay, how about Ryan?
Yeah, I agree. I'll say this because I 100% agree with Mark, but I can't remember which game, but I'm pretty sure it was a game against the Lioneers earlier in the season that in the first half there's like a little contact, foul. Contact on the other end, foul. Another contact, foul. And as a coach, you're like, perfect. We know exactly how they're calling it. So we can adjust to this. This is incredible. Second half, contact, no foul. Contact, no foul. The exact opposite. You're like, wait, we had just adjusted exactly what you guys are calling. I've said this not just in Taiwan, I've said it in Vietnam, I've said it in Canada, because I thought the NBA did a good job of this when I was there, is they would say, these are our rules for this year. This is what we're focusing on. And in the preseason, they call too many fouls.
Yeah.
But to say like, hey, this is what we're focusing on, so you can adjust to it. I prefer not to yell. But I yell because I don't want my players to go crazy on the court. So at least if they see I'm protecting them or trying to, then they'll calm down a little bit more. Like, I don't like to yell. Someone will be like, oh, you're really mad that last game. I'm like, yeah, because I don't want my players to go crazy during the game.
But my last question would be like in NBA, the degree of physicality is way like more than here. But why the reason that they didn't?
No, 100% wrong.
No,
not at all.
100% wrong.
Completely opposite.
No, it's the opposite.
If an NBA official
If we play by NBA officials, most teams
60 free throws,
there'd be like 60, 70 free throws. Like players would foul out within the first half. Easy.
Really?
Yeah.
Easy.
100%.
It's not even close. It's not even close.
Why do you think too? Like our games are consistently in the 80s and 70s and 90s, and the NBA is 110, 115.
It's
Just
not
because
even close.
guys here go, oh, I can't stop somebody. Let me just hold him and check him.
I'm not hammering on the refs. Refs are going to be good. Refs are going to be bad. Coaches are going to be good. Coaches are going to be bad. Players are going to be good. Players are going to be bad. But you have to hold people to a standard. If you can't hold people to a standard, like what are we doing?
好了，那我们今天呢，其實邀請到國王隊的 Ryan Marchand 跟國王隊的助理教練 Mark， 其實聊了蠻多。其實很多其實不一定是跟今年的聯盟或者是跟國王隊本身有關係，但比較是可能跟台灣籃
球文化白皮書。
對，就是有一些可能我們過去想要知道的事情，我們怎麼看一下外面的教練其實帶給我們的一些想法。
有些真的顛覆我們的想象。
對，其實跟我們可能包含像網絡上的討論啊，或者是我們可能過去的一些習慣，其實都很不一樣。我覺得其實大家可以真的多多思考。對，
可以參考一下，就是外籍教練來台灣執教之後，他們來看整個籃球環境啊。
好，那我們今天 Thank you Mark。
Oh,
so
right.
thank you Ryan. Thank you Mark.
Appreciate
it.
Henry, appreciate it. Yeah, who's your favorite coach in the league?
Ryan Marchand. Same question he asked.
Cheers.
Same question he asked last year at pretty much the same time.
I'm making sure he's answered the same every single year. Or I'm not coming back.
去年我们在打那个，我们在去那个打棒球，他问过我一样的问题啊。
It's the only reason I come back, because it's the last